This is the fall centerpiece. There's two versions. One has the Black-Eyed Susan floral design and the other one is a pumpkin design. There are also two sizes. There is one for the 5x7 hoop and another for the 7x12. The centerpiece ends up being the same size no matter which hooping size that you use. There are 8 blocks that take you around the perimeter of the centerpiece, and then there's a center block. So there are actually 9 blocks. If you're doing the 5x7, you're going to have 9 hoopings. If you're doing the 7x12, you're going to have 5 hoopings. The 5x7 can only handle 1 block at a time. So you will be doing more blocks for the 5x7 than you do for the 7x12 because the 7x12 can handle 2 blocks in each hooping. And that's basically what the difference is. So now when you, the written directions, will show the 5x7 and also the 7x12, but the video for the center in particular is going to have more detail for you to follow to understand. We also have the schematics. There is a 5x7 schematic, and then there's also a 7x12 schematic. Now, with these, let me go to the 7 or the 5x7 first. That's going to show you where each attachment gets with the hoopings, because when you get to, if you're doing the 7x12, you see there is not a solid line in this one because these two, hooping blocks 1 and 2 will get stitched out in hooping 1, which tells you right here, hooping 1, blocks 1 and 2, hooping 2, blocks 3 and 4, hooping 3, blocks 5 and 6, hooping 4, blocks 7 and 8, and then 9 is the center. Block 9 is the center. 5 hoopings. So once you get the all the hoopings and the blocks stitched down, and that does get done in the hoop, the attachment of the different blocks, you'll have the entire circular hoopings done, but you'll have a blank center. That last center block is what's going to connect all of these other blocks. So you will hoop your last hooping, which was the center block, and then after you do the design, the bulk of the design, well actually you'll be doing the entire design, and all that will be left will be the tack downs of the previously attached hoopings and then the satin stitch. So the difference between the schematics here is just the showing that you do not, these two are attached in the hooping. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. These two are attached within one hooping, whereas you have to, on a 5x7, you actually have to attach it in the hoop. So when you do the first hooping, no matter whether it's a 5x7 or 7x12, once you're finished, you will just trim the stabilizer and set that aside. It will be the second hooping where you will start attaching. So if you're doing the 5x7, you'll stitch out entirely hooping 1. You'll remove it from the hoop, trim the stabilizer, and set that aside. You'll go to hooping 2. You'll do the entire design, which will include either the pumpkin or the flower. And then you will, at the end, you'll have 2 sequences left, and you will attach hooping 2 to hooping 1. And this shows you, this schematic shows you where that gets attached, and you'll also see it on your machine, and your needle will move to the spot of where it's supposed to attach. If you're doing the 7x12, you will do the blocks 1 and 2 in that first hooping, and you'll do the same thing. You will remove it from the hoop, trim the stabilizer, and set it aside, because it won't be until hooping 2 that you will start attaching blocks as you move around the perimeter of the centerpiece. Then these different colored lines on the center block are the same for the 5x7 or the 7x12. And it will tell you right here that the red is where you attach 1, hooping 1. The orange attaches hooping 2, and etc. The only difference is that, well, there really isn't any difference. You'll just go around the perimeter and you'll tack that down. And there is a video that shows doing this, so I definitely urge you to watch the videos. Even, you know, if you're doing the 7x12, even watch the 5x7 video. The 5x7 takes you through each hooping. The 7x12 is a little sparse on the video, but the written instructions there's more written instructions for the 7x12 and more video instructions for the 5x7, and it's all basically done the same, except for the fact that you've got 2 blocks on the 7x12 and 1 block on the 5x7. When you get finished, you will all be together, and you want to trim your excess stabilizer from that last hooping, and you'll want to square the centerpiece, and that video shows you how to do that with your quilt ruler. And then if you are going to add a back, well, you're going to add a back, but if you're going to, you can do it 2 different ways. You can put the back face down on the front of the centerpiece, stitch all the way around, leaving an opening at one of these flat portions, and then once you've stitched it down, turn it through that opening, and then just top stitch, press it and top stitch, and close it at that opening first. If you want to put binding on, you would put the back on you would put the back wrong sides together and stitch that on. Do not leave an opening, and then you'd have the raw edge that you'd cover with the binding. So it's just up to you which way you want to do it. Something I do want to point out is that as you're trimming your blocks, when you get to trimming these 2 that have the flat edge, you want to leave a 1/2 inch seam allowance for adding that back. And something else I do want to point out is that with each block, you're going to have 2 fabric pieces that go down. The first fabric piece, and they're both the same size, the first fabric piece is going to be this half oval. It's going to quilt the half oval, but you're going to attach it down over top of the batting on the block. And then you're going to put another piece, which is layer 2, is how I have that in the instructions. Layer 2 is going to go on top, and it's going to give you this quilt design here. Some of them will have the floral or the pumpkin applique, and there is on the video shows you how to do the pumpkin applique. It's just a basic applique if you've done any machine embroidery or machine applique. The floral design is just all fill stitches, and each block is going to get the satin stitch. After you put that layer 2 fabric on, you're going to want to trim this section on all 4 sides. So that is generally the gist of how you're going to stitch out these centerpieces, and make sure you follow all the way, or that you watch all the way through the videos, and also your written instructions. You've got color analysis sheets also for both the 5x7 and the 7x12. Now, the pumpkin design is what is showing on the color analysis documents. We did not do a floral because it's pretty much the same thing. You just don't have that applique that's going down, and instead you've got the fill stitches. So I hope that makes sense. Continue on to watch the instructional videos.